Hi there, the name's Nico, and today I'll be covering everything you need to know about traps in Season 5, so let's get started. So what are traps? These are summons you can place on the ground, and if someone or something steps on them while in combat, they will trigger the trap. Anyone but the person who placed them who is in the area when the trap detonates will take damage and the CC effect that trap has, if any. They also deal true damage, which means you cannot reduce the trap damage by defense. Exception to this is with trap damage reduction, and currently only EOD boots have trap damage reduction on them. Traps are also invisible on the ground and can only be seen by surveillance cameras, telephoto cameras, trail cameras, and EMP drones. Traps are not really used by beginner players, but this is one of the steps you should take to advance your gameplay because the people in your lobby will start using them the higher you climb. So what are the traps you can make in the game? Well, there are 9 completed traps you can make. Fire traps, hidden maidens, sting bursts, C4s, double guillotines, claymores, smart bombs, mithril string, and remote mines. There are 4 traps that provide some form of CC. Hidden maidens, sting bursts, double guillotines, and claymores. Hidden maidens provide a slow, sting bursts also provide a slow, double guillotines provide a root, and claymores provide a stun. Out of these traps, 2 of them are made out of rare resources, mithril string and remote mines. Mithril string is obviously made from mithril. Remote mines are made from a force core. You rarely see mithril string because there are better things you can do with mithril for the majority of the cast. And most people will make holy water with mithril instead of mithril string because the healing is really good from holy water. Remote mines are more common because not everyone wants force core items, and there currently is no force core food. So out of the 9 completed traps, which ones should I make? These are the 5 best traps you can make in my opinion. So at number 5, we have fire traps. I would have said they were higher in the previous season, but they have been nerfed repeatedly, but even then, they are really good. This is because they are extremely easy to make. All you need is 1 gunpowder and mouse trap to make an explosive trap and oilcloth. Explosive traps are one zonable in cemetery, and you can RNG oilcloths off of wolves and bears. People often leave oilcloth on the ground as well. This trap is just damage, but since they are so easy to make, they are definitely a top 5 trap. Next up at number 4 are claymores. Claymores provide a stun and do decent damage. Claymores are harder to make, requiring an explosive trap and a mine, which I'll show the recipe here. The major benefit of these traps is that glove and dagger characters can't clear them, but since it's hard to predict if these characters will be the last alive, people generally don't bother making them, except Isol. Now for the top 3. At number 3 is remote mines. These traps do a lot of damage. The damage is a bit slow to come out, so it is dodgeable if you react to it immediately, but if you CC someone into remote mines or they have to walk into the final zone because they have no timer and take it to the face, this is a great source of damage. The downside to this trap is that it requires a force core. Most characters in the game have a use for force core, so it's only built to get multiple force cores. And even then, many characters who get a second force core want another item. Characters that generally don't want more than 1 force core would be E-bad characters. With the current state of Elysian Halo, even spellcasters want 2 force core items. So these don't see much use except for when you pull it out of a legendary supply box. In second, we have smart bombs. These traps do insane damage and are pretty much non-dodgeable without a mobility spell. So if you place multiple down, you are generally guaranteed to hit all but one of them, and your opponent use their mobility spell, which gives you an opening. Another benefit is they do not require any rare resources, so anyone can make them without losing out on a transition item. The 2 reasons why is not number 1 is that it provides no CC, and the fact that it is pretty hard to make. You need to make a cell phone and an RDX. I'll show you the recipe for smart bombs on screen. So you probably won't see these unless someone grabs them from a yellow box, they're avoiding fights until final zone, or are playing Isol. And the best trap in the game in my opinion are double guillotines. Although these traps don't do a lot of damage compared to smart bombs and remote mines, they still do chunk you for 280 HP and have a 1-second root. This allows a lot of characters to set up the rooted opponent in a CC combo. Plus they do not require any rare resources and are easy to make. Most players make pendulum axes, the prerequisite double guillotines, in pond, take a bunch of mouse traps, and then go to rusty sword zones. Alternatively, you can go to the beach and then archery range to make double guillotines, although it is not as inventory efficient. This trap is by far the most common trap in high elo NA ranked, and many players will have some for final zone. So if you see someone making traps, you may wonder how do I get rid of them? Well, you can either clear them yourself by autoing them, step on them and step out of it, or leave them there and use EMP drones to disable them for a period of time. Remember that in order to see traps, you have to set a camera down, meaning you can't auto invisible traps even if you know they are there. And that is everything you need to know about traps in Season 5. If you like the turn as much as I do, consider subscribing. I hope to see you at the next video.